Hello everybody, my name is Dringer. I want to welcome you to another figure review. This time we're going to be taking a look at Lord Starkiller from Legends, or he's from Force Unleashed, the video game, and I definitely give it a recommend play. As you guys can tell, this review is going to be a little different from all the rest. We finally have ourselves a light box with a turntable. So we're finally going to be producing some high quality reviews for you guys. We'll be taking a look at the box and the box art, and then we'll take a look at the figure, and then his articulation and all the accessories he comes with, and then we'll do some epic poses for him. Alrighty, so checking out the box art and the box description, we have great poses, of course, definitely going to use some of them. And then we got some of the artists behind this figure and where you could buy this figure, also branded by Hot Toys and Disney. VGM 63. We're finally going to get him out of the box, but first we'll take a look at his art. Alrighty, so taking a look at the box art, of course it's going to be amazing, it being a Sith character. And I tell you, whoever does these art prints just does a phenomenal job every single time with every figure. So I definitely give praise to this. As you guys can tell, I had already removed all the plastic coverings, so it would be easier for getting him out of the box. But taking a first look, as you guys can tell, he comes with a lot of lightsabers. It's very fascinating that he came with this many. There's a few in there that are quite interesting. I altered one lightsaber just because it was a little annoying, but we'll get to that. Alrighty, now that we have Lord Starkiller out of the box, we can finally get a brief summary of him and what we think of this figure. There's a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, first things first, I want to talk about the figure itself. I want to get into a little backstory of him, but I want to talk about the figure first. Let me just say that Hot Toys have really outdone themselves with the nylon undersuit. I know they're really starting to do that more with the Nihilus that just came out, and the Battle Damage Darth Vader, and then the Revenge of the Sith Vader that is coming. And I think it's working way better than the pleather. Now, it does create a little bit of a fuzz to it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you guys can really see it, it's got a little bit of a fuzz. And it does look like he still has a little bit of pleather on him. I don't know if it's pleather on his belt, and also if that's pleather around his neck, but it is there. Now, a plus about this figure is that he comes with a lot of wires in those drapes around his waist. I think that's a great thing to have in a figure like this. Wires are essential, especially for action poses, and this one's definitely going to be full of them. Now, one more complaint that I have is I really wish that this figure came with a Sam Witwer head sculpt. I know it's not really how it went in the video game, but let me tell you, I would love a Sam Witwer head sculpt Starkiller. He's definitely like top on my most wanted list. I think it would just look amazing next to this figure. Especially having the red blades next to the blue blades. It would definitely look amazing. But only time will tell. Now, getting into a little bit of backstory of this figure. Spoiler alert ahead. This is from the first game, and this is achieved through the bad ending. I would like to consider it a double bad ending. Because you have the choice to make two options when it comes to it. First option is to either fight Sidious and save your friends, or fight Vader. And if you fight Vader, you have the choice, one more time, to escape with your friends, or to defeat Vader. And well, you gotta defeat Vader. And there you get the bad ending, in my opinion. Although, is it really considered bad when this whole figure is really based around all the DLCs meant for that game? Now, there's a reason why this figure is not canon in the universe, and I think the belt full of lightsabers is a big explanation why. This figure is definitely going to be fun to pose. I'm hoping he's got a lot of articulation in him. So let's go ahead and check that out. Before we get into the articulation, I do want to take a look at that detail because it's absolutely amazing. With all the scratches and bullet holes on his helmet and armor, it just looks out of this world. Literally. The electronics on his back, the ponytail, the fact that you can move that is so amazing. The wires in his cape, you're going to get so many action poses out of it. This figure is absolutely stunning. He just looks so cool. Alright, so getting into the articulation of this figure, we'll be starting from top to bottom. And remember to be mindful of his hands. They are very sharp. You do not want to pierce yourself. It hurts. And also take caution of the neck shawl that he has on. For I don't know if it's pleather and it's already creased up and it was already made like that. But I think you should just still take caution, especially with the corners of the helmet. Another thing is we'll also show off the wire articulation. But like I said, we're going to start from top to bottom. So with the head, he does have a double neck joint, but it does limit his looking up ability because of the rim of the helmet. It meets up with the back, so you're not going to be able to look up that well, but looking down, he can look down quite a bit. Another thing is to take caution with his shoulder pads. They're velcroed on, and these wires right here. You move his arm that much. If you want, you could move the shoulder pads, but be careful of tearing. You got his hand articulation with the wrist joint. Pretty basic for any Hot Toys figure. Then he does, I believe, have butterfly joints, as you could tell right here from the seams. So you could get him more like that. Then he does have an ab crunch, but the way his outfit is made, it is very limited. But it is there. And going on to his legs. His legs are also very worrisome. Because of the nylon suit, you can't bend it that much. And same with the splits. You don't want to make him do the splits that much. This nylon suit can be very tight. Hopefully it's not too bad with the Vader figure. You got his knee bend. It's not that bad, but the thighs definitely worry me more. Then he does have boot covers. You'd think that would limit his ankle pivot, but it doesn't that much, so he still does have quite a bit of an ankle pivot going on. And then, of course, you got the wires in the cape. And that is going to be both sides of all three. And remember not to pierce them with the hands. Now, in honest opinion, his articulation is not the greatest. But he makes up in detail and straight up aura and how he looks, because he does look pretty amazing. Now that we've looked at the articulation, we'll finally take a look at all of his accessories. And this is where the surprise comes in. Alrighty, so getting into his accessories, as you could tell, it comes with quite a bit of array of lightsabers, and I did modify the 3. As you could tell, I detached Darth Vader's from Darth Maul's to make them separate. And then with his other main lightsaber, I did super glue the middle. It was coming very loose on me. It kept breaking apart into 2 pieces, and it was just no way it would stay as one. So I took a big leap and put super glue into it. Now we'll actually get into that first, because I want you guys to fret not. There's not even any super glue in sight. You can't even really tell where the seam is at. This is his second lightsaber. This is his, and it's one that he usually uses. But it's weird that they didn't give him a wired one for this one. They gave him 2 blades, but didn't give him a second wire. So I'm a little confused. Getting into his next blade, you got his main blade. And this is if you don't feel like, posing him with the battery pack and all the wires. You can put this one on his belt if you'd like. But this is his lightsaber. This is his go-to lightsaber, and I really like the look of it. Next lightsaber I do want to talk about is one I don't quite understand. I don't even know if it's a lightsaber. Doesn't look like one. It doesn't have any buttons or anything. So if you know what this is, let me know in the comments. But I don't think this is a lightsaber. Next up, we can talk about the 2. I will talk about the 2 together, because that's usually how they come. But I just decided to separate them. So they would both hang from his belt, separately like that. And one doesn't need to be hanging off the other. It's just very confusing that way. So I thought it'd be easier just to put them on separately. You do have Darth Maul's blade, though, of course. Putting Darth Vader's right down real quick. Talk about his. It's great detail. It's not quite cut off from the middle, as the middle is right where my thumb is with the black line. It's great detail that it does look cut, though. If you want, maybe you could take off the screws and put this blade with a Darth Maul. Give him a different look blade. And I do believe this is General Ram Koda's lightsaber. I think it's got a lot of detail to it. It's very amazing, cool looking. The fact that it has a little bit of fabric on it is very unique. Not forgetting about Vader's lightsaber over here. Once again, a lot of detail. Almost looks like Anakin's Episode 2 lightsaber, but we all know this is Darth Vader's lightsaber. Another trophy to the collection. Alrighty, and we can talk about the wired lightsaber. Same one as his basic lightsaber, only has the glow up effect to it. Speaking of the glow up effect, he does come with the battery pack that is plugged in with USB-C. It does come with 2 ports, so it makes me think that they might have had the idea to give him 2 wired lightsabers, but I guess they decided not to. And then he does have a clamp to go along with it to put on his belt, but I much prefer to put it on the base. And then of course he does come with the 2 fan blades and 2 regular blades. And I gotta agree with Justin's collection. I much prefer the blades be on more an angle than on a straight edge at the bottom. I think that would be more accurate. And it is hard to tell, but this side is lighter than the other side. But it's darker from all other fan blades that they've done in red. It's got more of a shade to it. And the same goes for the regular blades. They have more of a shade to it. Not so translucent. Can't get my camera to focus for you guys to see. There you go. And then he does come with an extra pair of wrist pegs. Now getting into the hands you got to be super delicate about. He does come with 2 relaxed hands, but when you want to change them, take caution of those spikes. They are very sharp. He comes with 2 lightsaber holding hands, a left hand and a right hand. And then he also comes with a force pushing hand, which in my opinion can double as a force lightning hand. If you get some other lightning pieces from other figures like Nihilus or maybe the Malgus that is coming out, you put them on hand like this and make it look amazing. Get some more poses out of it. Now I do have a surprise for you guys, and I'm going to show it off to you guys in 1 second, but I first want to show off the LEDs on the lightsabers. So let's go ahead and get to that. I did almost forget one more accessory, and that's going to be his display stand. He does have the Lord Starkiller trademark legends right there on the silver plaque. But this display, it's time to stop using it. Hot Toys have started to use the cogwheel design for some of the newer figures, but I noticed that figures like Nihilus still has the square base. I like it. I like this. I don't like this. I wish it was the clamp and not the crotch grabber. Don't get me wrong, this works, but it's so much more noticeable than just a regular pole that bends. But for now, we gotta make do with this. It is still a good display. Alrighty, so we are gonna get into his USB-C light up abilities, and that's only gonna be for his lightsaber. I really wish they included at least 2 lightsabers, at least some light up abilities for this belt right here or his back piece. But for now, we gotta make do with the 1 lightsaber. So let's go ahead and show that off. And this will also be where we have the surprise. So for those who stay tuned, I want to do a big shout out for Ironworks Studio for sending over a Lord Starkiller lightsaber. We're going to show it off in a moment, but I first want to show off the lightsaber that Hot Toys has made in comparison. So let's go ahead and turn off the lights. Now don't worry, the power hasn't gone out and the camera is still working. But I do want to show off the lightsabers. And starting with Hot Toys. This is without the blade. And it shines pretty bright in comparison to, you know, the ones that they've done with the arms and whatnot. And showing it off with the blade. Here it is with a fan blade. And this is in complete darkness. It's not too bad. It definitely shows up a lot better on camera versus in person. But trust me, it does not look this good in person. And going on to his normal blades, I gotta use his lightsaber as a seeing eye. Here it is on a normal blade. Once again, it shows up a lot better on camera, but in person, it's not that bright. And then we're gonna show off the Ironworks saber. So let's go ahead and show that off. Now let me just say, this blade is absolutely amazing, and it's definitely a big upgrade from the one Hot Toys provides. Hot Toys, you need to step up your game, because Ironworks absolutely blows it out of the park. I mean, look how bright that is. It looks amazing. It looks good in person and in camera. On camera, it just looks so screen accurate. Like, the fact that it looks like it's white on the inside and it's got the red glow to it, it's absolutely perfect. Ironworks, you have outdone yourself. Makes me want to pick up his other lightsaber that he's done. I will do a lot of poses with this lightsaber, but I will do some of the poses with both his lightsabers. We can go ahead and get into his poses. We're going to do 10, and then that's going to be all. Before we get into the poses, I do want to mention one quick thing, and that has to do with his belt. I already went and put all the lightsabers on and whatnot, and in what order I think they should look. And this is how it should look with it fully attached. And in my opinion, this is the best way to have it, is have the Darth Vader blade separated from Darth Maul's blade. Absolutely amazing. Now, I do want to note one thing when putting these lightsabers on that you should be careful is. One thing is the Velcro right here. Another thing is, if you look right here, he has like an inner seam. You want to take caution when putting these hooks on, for they can catch on those seams and possibly tear out the thread and possibly ruin the drapes along his belt. So do take caution when putting the belt onto the figure. And in case you guys were wondering what he looks like without the belt on, here you go. Nothing too amazing. He still has the same posability. In case you guys wanted to see that again. The nylon suit really restricts the legs. But that's okay. The nylon suit is way better than the pleather suit. Alrighty, so like I said before, we have 10 poses planned. This is going to be pose number 1. I have a few poses planned with 2 sabers, so we're not going to be using the Ironwork saber just yet. It also goes for the turntable. We won't be using the turntable while we're using the Ironwork saber, only because I do not want to damage the cord. It's going to get wrapped up in the figure, and I don't want to risk that. So we're going to do some poses in hand and some poses using the turntable. But with that being said, this is already a big upgrade from our last posing session. So let's go ahead and go on to pose number 2. Alrighty, so here we are with pose number 2. Looking kind of sinister, using both sabers. Got the head on a tilt. I'm telling you, he's such a menacing character. And so much detail. Like, look at that back. Makes me really want to get a second blade for him. Which I probably will. But only time will tell. As I say with everything. So let's go ahead and go on to pose number 3. Alrighty, so for pose number 3, we kind of have him in like a blocking pose because he's in battle, of course, all the time. It seems like, whether it's against stormtroopers or rebels alike, he's dealing with them. Let's go on to pose number 4. I'm pretty sure the next one I'm going to do one without any lightsabers. Alrighty, so pose number 4 is kind of a niche pose. It's not doing anything crazy. He's just got his hand up. If you want to, you can always just put something in his hand, like a hologram, maybe a grenade. Let your imagination go wild. Let's go ahead and go on to pose number 5. Alrighty, so here we are with pose number 5, finally using the Ironworks saber. Like I said before, we're not going to be using the turntable while we're using the Ironworks saber, just because we don't want to tangle up the cord. And in case you guys were wondering, compared to Ironworks saber and the Hot Toys, this is what the Hot Toys light up looks compared to that. In my opinion, Ironworks is way better. And in case you guys were also wondering, compared in the dark with these poses, it looks amazing. Alrighty, so for pose number 6, we got him in a bit of an action pose, using the Ironworks saber. Once again, another good one. And then, of course, for pose number 7, we have to have Lord Starkiller acknowledge the blade at hand and examine the master craftsmanship that was put into this. Once again, well done, Ironworks sabers. Alrighty, so for pose number 8, I used kind of the art print on the front of the box for reference for this pose, but I kind of tweaked it a little bit. I think it looks good. Alrighty, so pose number 9 and 10 are going to be some of my favorite poses. This one right here is super iconic. It just screams Starkiller. And I'm pretty sure this is like his signature like pose when in this look. We got one more pose to go. I'm going to add an added accessory for this last one, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Alrighty, so this is going to be pose number 10. It's also going to be our last pose. I saved the best for last, using the Ironworks saber. I also used a lightning piece from the Season 1 Mando figure that goes on his rifle. I think that was a great pick to use lightning on this figure. It's not too big like the new ones that are out. It's kind of small, and it fits on the hand perfectly. I absolutely love this pose. I think I'm going to put them on my shelf just like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this figure review. My name is Dringer. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Once again, thank you to Ironworks Studios for the lightsaber. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.